my audience. Alright guys, I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight and listening to me talk about what I'd like you to add to your tackle box this fishing season. Alright, you don't want to be one of those guys out there not catching any fish, thinking, you know, you got everything you need, but really, you don't. Alright, you're going to want to either have a spinnerbait or a buzzbait in your tackle box, perhaps both. Alright, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you the different constructions of both baits. Then I'm going to give you the different things you can do to fine-tune to enhance your performance. Alright? Then I'm going to give you the different locations, orientations, and depths of water, different weather conditions you're going to want to use the baits in. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's start with the construction of the buzzbait. You have here a 2-blade propeller. Then you have the arm, which is made out of wire. Then you have here the lead weight, also called the drop weight according to bassfishingandcatching.com. Then you have the hook and the multicolored skirt. Next we're going to move on to construction of the spinnerbait. You have here the spoon, then again you have the wire arm, you have the lead weight, then you have the skirt and the hook again. Alright, so there's the constructions of both baits. Next, we're going to move on to the different things you can do to fine-tune your baits. Alright, and we're going to start out with a spinnerbait this time. Alright. Like I said before, you had the single spoon. What you can do to fine-tune this is add another spacer below this spoon and add another spoon underneath to add to the vibration that the first spoon produces, attracting more fish. Alright, the next thing you can do is, as you can see, the spinnerbait has a V shape to it. You can alter this so that it's straight up and down, so that when it floats and it spins, the spoon is at a 90-degree angle perpendicular to the weight. You can also change the color of the skirt. We'll get into that later when we talk about the different conditions of water you're going to be fishing in. Alright. Next we're going to move on to the buzzbait. There's many different things you can do with the buzzbait. Let's start with the blades. Alright. This is a 2-blade propeller. There are 3-blade propellers. That will increase your vibration. Alright. The blade is at a 90-degree angle. You can bend it so that it's at a 30-degree angle, decreasing the amount of splash that occurs on top of the water. Alright. As you can see, it's in a U shape right now. You can alter it by straightening out the lower part of the arm and then straightening out the top part of the arm so that they're both at 90-degree angles, almost causing a rectangular shape. This decreases the chance of the blade getting tangled up in the hook while you're performing your cast. Alright. It also helps to stay on top of the water. The other thing you can do is add more weight onto the drop weight. Alright, now that I've talked to you about the different fine-tunings you can do with the different baits, I'm going to talk to you about the different locations and orientations that you're going to get into and the different weather types you're going to want to fish each one in. Alright, let's start with the spinnerbait. Spinnerbait, you can use in all different types of weather, whether it's calm out or whether it's windy. Alright? You can fish it on top of the water, with mid-range water, 1, 2, 3, depends on the depth of where you're fishing at. Let's say you're in 50 foot, you can fish it at 25 foot, or you can fish it, you can drag it along the bottom of the water, bounce it off rocks, attract the fish's attention. Or what you can do is you can go vertical with it in a yo-yo attempt. This is also effective. Alright? They're not as good in murky water compared to the buzzbait because buzzbait gives that effect of the noise and lures the bass out. So now we're going to get into why the buzzbait is more effective. Alright? Buzzbait with the propeller on it produces vibration and noise on top of the water to attract a big bass, according to Heath Anderson from basscraft.com. It lures the bass out of the water and from their hiding spots and attracts them to the bait. Alright? You can also use buzz bait and just bend one of the propellers to make the buzz bait curve back into you when you're casting out and reeling in, instead of it coming back in a straight line. And Chris Eubanks from FLWOutdoors.com says this will work, and personally I agree with him because I've done it myself. All right. Charles Stewart's article from spinnerbaits and buzzbaits on bassresource.com talks about all the different things you can do to fish these baits in different conditions. He also says that in murky conditions, you're going to want to use your buzzbait, because when there's a fish coming up on your bait, he's first going to hear it and he's going to attract to it, bringing it out of the hiding spot. But then he says you can change your skirt to a darker color so that when the fish comes on it, he doesn't get scared away. It's more of a natural camouflage, so that the fish doesn't get scared away by your bait. But we've talked about the construction of the baits, the different things you can do to fine-tune them, and the different weather types that you're going to go through. And I think that no matter what you have in your tackle box, these buzz baits or spinner baits are going to outdo anything you got. So